Good morning, listeners and viewers.
Morning, Ammar.
What, you all right?
Yeah, good.
Tired?
Nah, not really.
Yeah, good. Just sounded a little.
Nah, it's all good. It's Friday, isn't it? And coming towards the end of another long week, fast
It
week.
has been. It has been. It's been another crazy week. Anyway, you're listening to Ammar and
Jaff,
live on our weekly radio show right here on Spice FM.
each week we'll try and bring some views, news, and one or two clues from the business world.
Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, and promote the Asian and wider communities.
And we'll be talking shop quite literally, not just corner shops. Whether you're looking to start a business, have an existing business, or you just want to talk business, we can help.
Can't help. We can't help. Bless you. So it's actually the end of September, Jeff.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Unbelievable how quickly the year has gone. My goodness. Well, we say that every year.
There we've got probably like recordings of this. Actually, you know what? It'd be really interesting to go back, wouldn't it? Because we record every show.
Yeah, of course. And if you go back, I think one of the most poignant things I feel that we've been saying for at least a decade or more than a decade, stop kind of poking the bear, the Russian bear, stop poking it because you just don't want to poke that big bear. And I think we're poking it and poking it and poking it. And the bear's gonna start to bite, but I think the fear is if it starts to take a bigger bite. I think
So,
something that we've said that we shouldn't have really ever allowed to get to this position, but the diplomats they all have done so, and it's very worrying for the world. So yeah, I think it would be interesting, Ammar. I think predicting certain things that you know they say that it's a conspiracy, digital IDs, stuff like that, talked about many years ago.
absolutely,
So
absolutely. Well, even Bitcoin. If you remember, I brought in that Sunday Times
yeah,
article on Bitcoin in 2012, 2013,
yeah, yeah,
and told everyone to buy some.
yeah, and we didn't.
We didn't. Yeah.
And once it's
How,
gone, once
how,
those opportunities
how,
gone,
imagine though, Jack, if we had just put in £1,000 each,
yeah,
like millions,
yeah,
like millions.
yeah, yeah. It seems to be the thing where people are putting. I mean, I still don't understand the concept of it. Just because of my question would be, if there is a electronic blackout
Yeah.
and all the numbers and all the codes have become mumble jumble and it's somehow been lost.
Mm.
And even when the electronic blackout is being dealt with, and imagine it's a bit like a computer. Oh, its computer's gone, it's shut down. And the worry is when the computer comes back on, everything that you need that you have saved, is it still there or has that just somehow disappeared? And if that happens, what recourse do you have on Bitcoin?
Oh, yeah. It's a great point. I think anything digital is very interesting, isn't it?
So,
Isn't
Ammar,
it?
do they
Is.
not give any type of assurities? If you've even put in a lot of
What
money,
surety do you have?
well, I'm just saying, if there is in the event of a blackout, don't worry. Um, you know, your investment is still going to be intact.
Mm. Yeah. Yes. Um, well, quite simply, there isn't any, is there? Because
Mm,
it's digital. It's the same as like, you know, okay, imagine if all the all of the lines closed or whatever it is, things like that. Imagine all of the digital. I mean, if the cash points or your cards fell down, where's your money gone?
Mm.
Is it not exactly the same thing?
Sorry, say that again. If your cards have,
So if your bank, like everything's digital, isn't it? I don't
yeah,
have my money in my
obviously these online banks, the new ones.
well, it's not just online, it's every single one. Where's your money right now?
Okay, so the point you're making, let's say that, for example, do you remember, was it Northern Rock when they said that there was something up with the bank and everyone rocked up to the bank and there was massive queues because everyone wanted to take the money out. So that if that was the case and you've rocked up to, let's say, one of the high street banks today, they're probably going to say, well, hold on, there's no point standing outside because we've got no money in the branch.
Yeah.
So with that scenario, it means that, but then there is that, is there not that rule in place that gives you protection up to 85,000? And how solid is that, Ammar?
Well, I mean, look, at the end of the day, right? How secure is anything?
But surely if the government are providing that security,
You
it
know,
would be
I mean, it's fine for me, but people like you know, as in at least I'll get my £2.74 back. But if you're sat there with a couple of £1 million in your bank, because you're not going to have it under your bed, and then all of a sudden the government's guaranteed 85 or £84,000 of it,
yeah.
that's a bit of a kick in the teeth, isn't it?
Yeah, it just doesn't. I mean, like we've said in the past, it's kind of, I can't believe that banking has come to this state today where your hard-earned cash, all a bank should be, it should be a storage center, a secure storage center to house the monies of the people. And yes, we should pay a fee towards the protection of that, a nominal fee, whatever it may be, so that the cost of that setup, that infrastructure is covered by the peoples. Fine, fair
Hmm.
enough, but that's all it should be. At no point ever should that come into jeopardy, because it's your hard-earned money and you're putting it in a secure place. But that's what a bank should be in essence. It's very simple and very logical, and maybe it may have started off in that vein when banks started, but how it's come to this, especially with digital monies, it's just something that you just can't comprehend, but it's a reality.
It's yeah, it's sad, it's crazy, it's
But
mad.
it's not just, it's just not, it's just not something that's happening here in the UK. It's obviously, it's kind of effectively all the banks around the world have had to take that system on board because it's been pushed and pushed and pushed by the powers that be.
Mm.
So I mean, it's the same in all countries, really, isn't it?
Well, it is, but in a lot of countries they still use cash, don't they?
Yeah, of course. And people probably have a lot more value of
I
cash.
mean, that was a brilliant move. I mean, it was horrific though, but it was brilliant, right? Imagine if you had and I can't remember exactly what it was, right? But there was a certain currency in India that they banned within 4 weeks.
I think it was it not the 500 rupee or 1,000 rupee or something? One of the big notes, basically.
It was no, I think it was more like 50,000 or whatever it was, right? Because they've got like ridiculously large amounts, haven't they,
Mm,
in different countries? It's only us that's got like £50. I mean,
yeah,
is there not like a €500 note?
I don't know, but there is a Scottish £100, Ammar, I think. I've seen one of them before.
No, yeah.
Scottish 100 quid, man. There's a Scottish
No,
quid.
oh, no, there's what? Where did you see
I'm
£100
sure I've
Scottish?
seen a Scottish 100 quid, man.
Hmm.
I don't know. We'll have to do a research. Do a little Google search. Does a Scottish 100 squid exist?
Uh,
Anyway, go on.
uh,
So yeah, so they
uh,
banned it. But then was
so,
that
so it was
bad? Was that
brilliant.
wrong?
It was brilliant. No, 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 because they said in 4 weeks' time we're banning this note, right? And all of a sudden, it was like, unless you put this money in the bank or you change it,
Yeah.
right? But you had to go to a bank to do it.
Mm.
And and then all of a sudden you had to record how much money you had,
Mm.
right? So there were the intent behind it was to tackle corruption, wasn't it?
Mm.
Which was brilliant. It's brilliant. You know, obviously not for those people who are sat with gazillions of pounds that they haven't declared, but it was actually primarily, as I understand it, officials that they wanted to tackle. Because if you're an official and you're on a I don't know 50 grand a year salary, and all of a sudden you turn up to your bank with 2 million quid, there's a bit of a question there, isn't
Well, you can question. Yeah, you can question a lot of leaders. I mean, you would question Zelensky, how he's earning a couple hundred grand a year, and he's got like 5 billion quid worth of assets around the world in the most luxurious places. I mean, how does that happen? So the system is wrong, but you know, it's not just corruption on £50 notes. There's so many other ways in other countries and other means that this has been happening over so many years.
it? That's mad. Um, it is anyway. Point is, for people like you and I, money and security is very concerning. But I also think to myself, yeah, maybe naively, maybe stupidly, just maybe stupidly, I think to myself, if I'm going to lose everything in my bank, or if I'm going to lose everything that I've got because of digital or some whatever it is, well, I wouldn't be alone, would I? And not that I want anybody else to suffer, but what happens then? I mean, I'm sat here worried about this type of nonsense, and there's people sat in the other side of the world worried about are they going to live today or not?
I mean, I understand them all. That's you're putting things in a particular context, but at the end of the day, I think
Yes.
in a country like in a country like the United Kingdom of Great Britain, one of the most stable countries throughout history, one of the greatest countries in history, still, you know, it's still got so much appeal. I think it must be for the stability that it brings. And I think, you know, financial stability for every single individual, all 60, 65 million of us, is critical to our daily lives. And
Mm.
I think, you know, if we're earning money honestly and we're putting it in the safety of a bank honestly, then that security must be 100% assured. And that should just be an absolute basic human right. And if it's not a basic human right, after working 50, 60, 70 hours a week to earn to look after your family, I think there's a massive question there. And I wouldn't I wonder why I mean, this is logical, isn't it, Ammar? Why wouldn't the ministers guarantee that to every single citizen? I think we should hold all, not just the governance of today, but throughout time, why that wasn't. So why did the government, the leaders, people in those positions not fight for that basic human right for every single citizen? And what's
Yeah.
going to happen tomorrow when things get even fruity? It's going to get fruity because it's all digitalized. And you could have cyber attacks, you can have blackouts, you can have hacking, you can have A, B, C, and D. Even amongst whatever threats are ahead, we still should have security of our monies, because that is, without that, I understand you can compare it. We're so fortunate and you can compare it against people in other parts of the world where they don't know if they're going to live day to day, and your heart goes out to them. But we're still in a country where we our expectation is to have a little bit more than that, and certainly financial security is critical. I think a lot more needs to be made out on this point, because I feel that we're getting into more vulnerable grounds as we move forward with digitalization of everything.
Not a doubt. It's crazy, Jeff. Anyway, let's get the show on the road. I also feel at a stage, Jeff, where we probably need to have a show business nighttime special.
Yeah.
But maybe it's called Life Business, where we are able to, past the watershed, have very open, frank, and forthright conversations around what everybody, not everybody, vast majority of people are thinking, talking about in their own spaces, places, but for whatever reason, don't want to talk publicly for fear of, I don't know, retribution, fear of abuse, fear of, we should be tackling the sticky, the sensitive, and the scary type of topics that people simply don't want to talk about. It's funny, right? Because I've been talking more recently. I feel as if I'm talking a bit more forcefully and openly, right? Around, I'm not prepared to waste my time anymore. I'm finding myself in a meeting saying, I'm not interested in sat round tables. For the last 30 years, I've given away half of my life, and I'm tired of just sat round the table and not seeing things happen. So if you're going to do something, it needs to be action orientated. If you want my time, you'll have to pay for it, right? Because I'm tired of that. Unless I'm doing charitable stuff, or unless I'm doing certain things where it's governed. Because it's mad, right? It just feels like when you give away some of your time, other people don't value it.
No.
Right? And then that wasn't the point that I was going to come on to make. But the point that I'm coming on to make is what I've realized more so than anything else is, we've just been talking about money, and we should all be better money educated. You've said this, we say this regularly, and ultimately, I just want to teach everyone how to make and manage money. I've said this several times, but I'm saying it a lot more, because actually the single most critical thing to everyone, right? Of course, it's health and happiness, right? But that only comes if you've got some wealth. And I'm not talking about being rich. I'm talking about just being able to have options. That's the thing, isn't it? If you don't have any money, you have no options. If you have no options, you don't have any health, you have no happiness. That's the problem. So, being as simple and straightforward. Now, I'm not suggesting that all of life should purely be about money. Absolutely not. But if people were more well-to-do, they'd then hopefully do more things with money, wouldn't they? They'd give to charity, they'd donate, they'd hopefully spend it on things that bring value to others, they'd support the local economy, the local shops, the local restaurants, is what they'd do. And it's that type of thing. And I just think to myself, okay, we need to do something about it. Is what we need to do. So I'm on a mission to do something about it.
Yeah, let's do it. I think we need to. We've been threatening to have a bit of lunch one day, but I'm just fearful of even approaching you because of your busy schedules and stuff.
I'll
So
see you on Tuesday.
Hmm?
I'll say what?
Tuesday. What's happening Tuesday? Let's have a look. Monday, Tuesday, Sunday. Yeah. Tuesday's all good.
Right.
You're not going to Union, Saint Union in is it Belgium? You're not going anymore?
Are you going there?
Nah.
I'm not going there. If you're not going, I'm not going.
The flights were just too much. It's crazy,
Was
man.
it?
You know, like you got these
How much was it?
450 quid or something for that. That's what they're saying. It's isn't it horrendous that as soon as the Champions League, I understand it's supply and demand, but I just feel it's just exploitation of fans. You know, the poor fans. You know, Ammar, they want to go to support the team abroad, and you know, it's their entire life, and you know,
Yeah, but was there not only like 1,000 and something
yeah,
tickets or something?
because they've got a very, very small stadium, right? So there's about 1,000 tickets, which obviously Newcastle away fans are they're like one of the best in the world. They'll always, you know, take the full allocation up.
Mm.
But then those that were able to somehow get in before, you know, the flights. It's like a battle, isn't it? As soon as the Champions League draw comes out and the dates are there, can the fans get in before the marketing companies of the airlines, who then realize, okay, hold on, let's bump up these prices? And some of them actually get in before they're able to bump up the airline prices, and they get the tickets at a good rate. But others, and you're talking hours and minutes or more. Like within an hour, because the marketing team can't just press the button; they have to do the calculations and stuff like that. So if you get in before the marketing team of the airlines are bumping up the prices, you're getting some really the normal rate prices, which could only be 80, 90 quid. And all of a sudden it becomes 400, 500 quid, which is just shocking. And that's what they have to pay because they've got.
Well, actually, it's not even it's actually surge control. You know, they call it surge control, is surge pricing, and it's all automatic now. It's all in the actual websites and the browsers. So even hotels, whatever it is, you look at, you know, I've looked at like things like Jet2 holidays or whatever it is, right? Because we can't afford the type of holidays that you go with Qmonu or whoever it is. Anyway, the whatever holidays we've looked at, and even if like we've looked at the same holiday or hotel a few times, as soon as you've looked at it a few times, it'll start bumping up the price because it's like, oh, you've looked at it. So they even have they even have this level of cookie sophistication where they'll go, well, you've looked at it this enough times. I think we could probably bump this up a little bit more and bump it up a little bit more and bump. It's crazy, crazy. But it is equally though, Jaff, you know, from a leisure and hospitality perspective, right? If let's just say there isn't, fair enough. If it was Emirates, I'd be saying it's not really fair because your flights are full all of the time. Why would you put your prices up, right? But they'll then argue and say, well, because a lot of the time we've got to reduce our prices to make them more competitive out of season. And in season, we have to put them up, right? It's the same with hotels. Hotels generally occupancy rates, I don't know, 60, 70%. You know, peak times, it goes to 95, 100%. They have occupancy. And at those times, they have to make the money to balance out the times that they don't. So I can see that. I mean, obviously, as a fan, it's not very helpful or nice, is it?
I understand that, but then I still feel, I feel morally wrong doing that. I remember over the years, Ammar, when New Year's Eve, New
Mm.
Year's Eve was like really, really big, big days. New
Yeah.
Year's Eve, and people would bump up the prices, and I just feel that's wrong because I feel it's a rip-off.
Mm.
I feel it's a rip-off, and you don't do it because for longevity and trust in the brand and all of those things. And I just
Mm.
feel morally it's taking advantage of the public, and don't think isn't that grounds of anti-competitive, or you know, I don't know. I'm sure that I remember one of the grocery shops, without naming the name, someone complained that they charged too much money for this exotic fruit. And they said that, oh, this is like you're trying to rip off the public. And they had to justify that. Hold on. I bought, there you go. There's no receipt. That's how much I bought it in for. And this is how much extra I'm charging. But there isn't anything like that in place for when, someone's charging 400% extra for a particular flight because they can't do so for that window that they've got.
It's yeah, it's anyway. No, I'm not, and I've just sent you that invitation. So it's your diary that's the hardest. So invite our friend as well.
All right, yeah, well.
Let me just quickly share with our listeners and the viewers.
Ammar, can you just manage it for just 1 minute? I've just got to
put it on mute then. Put yourself on mute.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect. Right. Anyway, let me just share this, and that's probably really good timing as well, is what it is, because I have something really significant to share. And I wonder if I can also share some sound here as well. And let's play this.
From this time and place to friend and foe alike.
Because whatever mankind must undertake.
So I'm sharing this, and what I'm sharing is the Enterprise Festival for 2025 with some background music as well. Can you hear the music, John?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so it's the Enterprise Festival in Northumberland. Let me make sure that I'm sharing this. And the Northumberland Enterprise Festival is, I probably need to turn the volume down a little bit more. Let me just turn that down, do this, trying to get creative. The Northumberland Enterprise Festival 2025 is almost here, and spaces are filling fast. If you're thinking of starting a business or are in your first year of trading, or even want to revisit some topics to help your business, this is your chance to access free expert workshops, connect with other new business owners, and learn about the £2,000 startup grant available in Northumberland. Hosted by the amazing Justin Lockwood and workshops from Steve Wheaton and SME Centre of Excellence, this one-day event is promised to have you feeling supported, energised and ready for your business. From pricing to growth planning and customer retention, you'll gain the tools, insights and clarity to take your next step. So the Enterprise Festival is across Northumberland. So we're in Blyth on the 7th of October, we're in Hexham on the 8th of October, and we're in Alnwick on the 9th of October. And there's a brilliant lineup. I'll be there delivering one of these workshops here, planning for growth, business planning, market understanding, goal setting, and we'll be sharing real stories of local entrepreneurs who have set up and who have gone through our programs.
Amazing. Can't hear much, Ammar, on this.
Oh, got what?
I can't hear.
You can't hear it?
No.
Oh, right, okay, sorry. I was in the middle of sharing and like dancing to the music, and obviously no one could hear anything. Brilliant, excellent. Anyway, that was so that was good.
Sorry, I got a bit interrupted there. Just maybe it's not a bad thing to let our listeners know. There are big protests that are happening. Those that are visiting the city centre on Saturday, just be mindful of protests from is it EDL? Is it English Defence League?
No, it's not EDL, is it? It's a different type
Whatever
of
it's called. So Tommy Robinson and his gang, they're all in town, and the protests start around about 1 o'clock from the law courts, and it goes right through the quayside, making the way to Grey Street. But then there's counter protests as well. So we just hope that there isn't going to be any kind of heads buttoning up together and any type of violence. But those that are coming in to town, just be a bit mindful of the times, probably between 11 and 3, but they might be gathering, 1 to 3, but they may gather an hour before and they might be around an hour later. So maybe if you're with families and you got plans, maybe take the protest into consideration.
Yeah, absolutely. We do get notified by the police on, from a community engagement perspective, and it's incredibly challenging. I was talking about the division generally, Jaff, that's affecting us, and it's sad. It's really sad, and the thing that I find most sad is there isn't a midway point, right? You either want to ban everyone in the country or you don't, right? As in, because I might agree with certain points that people are making, right? And I might disagree with others. But there isn't no moderation. There's no mediation. There's no medium point. I can't be an Asian and want to live in this country and remain and still think that migration's an issue. I can't be.
Why?
I can't.
I'm sure we can.
Well, okay. All I'm saying is it's either all or nothing. And I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about just white people as well.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, white people, if you think that migration's an issue and you join these marches, it's either all or nothing, isn't it? It's like, it's outrageous that, if you've got a particular view and people are getting suckered into these views, because I'm talking to lots of people and they're like, yeah, I might agree with some of it, but actually the vast majority of it's been just politicized. It's been taken advantage of, and all of these things.
I mean, it's a nice word that you use there. People are getting sucked into something, but I think we have to just take a step back and just. I think some have said to me that, well, when you look at a particular kind of group that's building momentum, whether it be this particular anti-immigration group, I don't even know the name of them, it doesn't just come out of nowhere. It's been financed. There's people setting the strategies in place. They've got people who are facing they have a face. They have like massive funding. Even like the likes of Elon Musk from on the other side of the pond is kind of aggressively putting messages out in support and stuff like that. And I'm sure it's not just messages of support, because if you're going to give 20 million quid or X amount of money to kind of fund it, and then you've got the means to be able to make it go, haven't you? Because you've got money behind you. Your marketing can be better. Your communication can be better. So that's where you need to look at. And when you look into that, I think that's when you kind of realize, actually, this is like very, very well executed, and there's a massive, big plan behind it. So, and what's their agendas is what the question is. And I think, unfortunately, the agenda is just to divide society, and that's very, very sad.
I agree, and it's like so challenging generally.
If you see all of those people that are on the protest, right? If you sit with them one-on-one, they're going to be completely different human being. They're not going to have those.
I mean, yeah, it's a brilliant point, and it's incredibly sad. But this termism that I used regularly, people call it, I don't know, sheeple. People are acting like sheep. or I call it clanism. You get with a clan. And I personally experienced this probably in practice, Jaff, when I started going to football matches, right? Because all of a sudden, I felt myself surrounded by all of these emotional people, and that emotion, like, sort of impacting me. And my son had never seen me like that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm talking personally here as well, right? So it's like, I actually get it. I actually get it. How all of a sudden, it's like, look, a perfect illustration of it is what I would describe as sometimes now people might describe as childish behavior, right? So childish behavior, you're walking down the street by yourself, and the skinheads are on the other side, and there was Shane or whoever it was with his dog and things like that, right? And you'd pull your pants and you'd cross the street and you'd run away, right? All of a sudden, there's you, and there's 20 of you, and there's all of that. And, like, you've got big whoever it is, and you've got, Zaf there, and you've got this fella, and all of a sudden, all of that type of thing. And there's a big group of you, and all of a sudden you're empowered, aren't you? You're emblazoned. You've got, like, your chest is bigger than, like, King Kong's is what it is.
No,
all I'm saying is, so that type of childish behavior, and it might be described as childish, or it might just be described as human nature, is exactly what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a very valid point, Ammar. It's very valid, very sensible. It is that is the reality. The only point I would make, there was a point when, you can get engulfed in your surroundings, but then everyone needs to make a moral choice where the line is. And I think that's the critical part of it. It's a bit like if you go back, and it can be changed. If you want to go back to football and how things used to be. I remember many years ago, I was sat in a room watching football in Carlisle, and every single other person in that room, they were all English, and I was the only person of colour. And I remember Andy Cole was playing, and he missed the goal. The ball went wide, and everyone, it was like, oh, you black this and you black that. That was just a standard way of kind of those people carrying on in a particular environment. But now I think over time, a lot of people have worked hard in order to genuinely change that culture and change that mindset, and that's deemed as morally, you can't go and criticize people based on their color. And on the terraces, you don't hear that anymore. So they have wiped it out, and they have developed and built the conscious in the minds of that group of people. So I think if they want to do something positively and they've got the right means behind it, whether it be kick it out or whatever it is, they've spent a lot of time, a lot of emphasis, they've had great strategies, and they've made a positive difference. That can be done also with the immigration groups that are going out there, and they've got a lot to say, but they just don't want to do that. They want to make it divisive, and that's why it's been allowed. I think that's simply what it is. I think it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous for the city. It's very dangerous for the country.
Well, actually, from a business perspective, Jack, right? Because that's what this show is all about.
Yeah.
From a show business perspective, it is incredibly challenging, and it has a significant impact on the city as well. It's like scary. It is incredibly scary. Going back to that point that I've just made, if I'm out there with the kids tomorrow and I'm going into town and I see all of these people, and some of these people might be King Konged or emblazoned or empowered, and then they might want to, throw something at me because I'm not the same colour as them. Because there is that, right? Isn't there?
Yeah. And I think it's just ridiculous that it's 2025, man.
Yeah, but
how on earth have things come?
So sorry, I'm cutting across you here, but actually, Jack, I think counter protests are important, but I just feel as if I wonder, and I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking out loud, but at the minute, the counter protests tend to be about something totally different, right? So the protests are all about best of British whiteness, whatever it is, and immigrant migration. Actually, it's all primarily revolves around migrants and immigration and all of these people who have come in illegally that we're spending millions, billions of pounds on, right? And when you look at the counter protests, they tend to be more than talking about Palestine, or they tend to be talking about a slightly different issue, right? As opposed to, right, racism in football, kick it out. Show racism the red card. There's the problem. Let's fix it.
Yeah.
Right? So I wonder if there needs to be more of a protest that isn't mixed up with these other messages about, you shouldn't be doing this and don't do that and other places and spaces and, save Palestine. All of that thing is absolutely commendable. And I think there needs to be that. But it just doesn't, it almost feels as if the counter narrative isn't the narrative. Whereas if I was, if I was looking to put something together, and maybe I should, maybe we should, if I was putting something together, I'd get all of the doctors, I'll get all of the nurses, I'd get all of the, the taxi drivers, the restaurateurs, I'd get all of the people who save lives day in, day out, and the corner shop owners and everybody who make and support the community, all of the teachers, all of the professors, all of the people who have built this country. And I'd be saying, we love our country. I'd be flying the flag.
No, that completely makes sense. And I'm surprised that that's not the tack that the counter groups have taken. You would have expected that's the most sensible way to go about it.
But I'm only observing this. But for me, it always then has a Palestinian flag and Muslim this and it almost feels as if the message is about something totally different.
But Ammar, the pro the demonstration that the pro Tommy Robinson group, they are all about saying that kick all the Muslims out and stuff like that. So I guess then there's going to be a Muslim element of that the anti-group, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, but okay, I get that, and I don't. Well, I don't think he says kick out every single Muslim, does he? I don't. Well, I haven't heard him say.
I mean, they come up with some madness in that Britain's going to be Sharia law because the mayor's like Muslim. I'm thinking, are you for real, man? I mean, even Trump's come out and said that kind of nonsense. I mean,
listen, Jack. All I am saying is, I just feel as if there's a different, more positive narrative. And look, I'm not disagreeing with it. I think it's brilliant that people are counter-protesting. Good on people standing up and actually fighting for what they are and should be doing. Absolutely, this is not any way, shape, fashion, or form am I saying we shouldn't be counter-protesting and there shouldn't be people there. I just feel as if, going back to your point, and it was only your point that I was reflecting on, right, was going back to your point that if we got, I don't know, John, and this is not every John, but it might be John, or it might be Tommy, right? If we sat down with Tommy and had a decent conversation, would he have his megaphone in my ear and spitting in my face and doing like whatever? Of course he wouldn't, right? Of course he wouldn't. But for me to have that conversation with him, right, I'd be going, I'd be going, okay, we're there. Let's just have a conversation around what have I done for this country, right? Not about my religion, not about my faith, not about what I believe in, not about my sexual orientation, not about any of those things that are quite personal to me, but just professionally, what have I done? Right? And it's like, okay, and there's enough people in this country who have helped build this country, Jeff.
Of course. And that blood, sweat, and tears, it can't go uncredited. And at the end of the day, we are here, and we're the fabric of this country, and we're here to stay. And we add, Britain is much ours as it is for those people that are protesting, and I think they know that anyway. But obviously, in that particular protest, they have to go down a particular political path, and it's all planned, and it's not good, because especially in 2025, as I said, it shouldn't be, society should not be so divisive as it is at the moment.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
I think Ammar, it affects like the average person, because like you said before, their perception of brown people, it gets tarnished by.
Well, this is my point, isn't it? Sorry, this is my point, Jeff.
Yeah.
The narrative should be, look at what brown people have done.
Yeah.
Right? It should be, here's the value we bring and have brought. We're not justifying why we're here, but just think about these things.
Yeah.
And I have seen some brilliant videos, right? And I've seen some brilliant illustrations. But going back to the protests, right? Going back to the protests, my point equally is because of the mixed messaging, right? Because of, like, whether it's Palestine or Muslims or, this or that or whatever it is, it doesn't necessarily allow for a white person who actually, like, loves me, might even be married to me, right, to stand up and protest, because that white person might not agree with some of the other things. Right? So it's almost like, okay, if you are an anti-protester, or if you're a protester, it's the division, it's the absolute, you can't have a view this way or that way, is the thing. And that's the challenge, right? As in, like some people, and look, some people religiously might not like Muslims, right? Muslims might not like certain other religions. That's a choice. They wouldn't vocalize it. We live in harmony. We live in a place where you can have whatever religion you want, and it shouldn't really make a difference. My point around all of this is quite simply, what happens if, I have a religious belief that actually and my own belief is, I might not like a particular religion, whatever religion it is, right? Now, all of a sudden, if that protest revolves around that religion, it doesn't allow me to then sort of come out and go, oh, by the way, I'm here to support brown people, because actually, brown person saved my life. Brown person provides me with the best food in the world. Brown person does this. Brown person, all of these things that a brown person does, all of a sudden, because there's this confusion and there's this absolute division. Because if you like a brown person, then you like Islam. And if you like Islam, then you want Sharia law. And if you want this, that's the way the narrative is, isn't it? It's like, oh my gosh, it is being taken over. And the messaging is so, so powerful, going back to your point. Anyway, we didn't share any of the brilliant presentation that Jamie always puts together our producer of our radio show, and it's really important in the last few minutes that we do this. Most critical thing is talking about brown people, Jeff. Here's a collection and selection of some brilliant brown people, right? And here's our power to the positive people. Here's the people who are making a huge difference and are saving lives, who are improving wealth, health, and happiness, and all here in the Northeast. You know, we've got the chief exec of Northumbria Healthcare NHS Trust. We've got dermatologists. We've got digital leaders. We've got business leaders. We've got the first Muslim mayor. Muslim mayor. Oh my gosh. Muslim mayor of Sunderland is what we have. We've got the Pakistani Association Northeast. We've got principal engineers. We've got legal people. We've got solicitors. We've got bank managers. We've got accountants. We've got, you name it. We've got comedians. We've even got a military nurse. What's that all about? And she's wearing a hijab. And that is outrageous. So this soldier is putting herself on the front line and she's saving lives wearing our best of British military uniform. That's ridiculous. Anyway, we even got Elsick Community Pool and Gym. What do you think about that? I think that's brilliant. Isn't it?
I think we're going to put you up on this counter demonstration and sat opposite Tommy Robinson, highlighting all of these things.
I'm there.
Imagine that the funniest thing will be, and Tommy Robinson will be absorbing it. He bet, you know what? I'm going on the other side.
I'll hug him. I'd give Tommy a big hug. Come to the side. We're open. You know, it's about inclusion.
It's quite funny, you know, just on that point. So we were talking about Katie Robinson, right? So as this demonstration goes past dude, right? And then the people will be like, oh, hold on. I think that's like a Middle Eastern kind of restaurant. Let's go and attack that. And I was just visualizing Katie Robinson with her arms out like the angel of the north, thinking that, no, you can't touch this place because they were all right with me. You know?
They let me in. Well, it's that age-old story anyway. We're coming up to the end of the show, but it's that age-old story, isn't it? I'm not a racist because I go to my corner shop and that guy's an Asian or whatever it is. You know, it's like I'm not a racist because I love German dollar, me. So nice. Anyway, you've been listening to Ammar and on our nearly 9 p.m. late show, you know, we managed to maintain some dignity, but in essence, you know, I think I enjoy sharing these views. These aren't everyone's views. I don't expect anyone to share my views, but I think it's important for us to have these conversations because they affect business. And this is show business, and it's live every week on Spice FM and broadcast all over the world. And if you want to join the positive people protest, because that's what we are, we're positive people. That's what we're passionate, positive people. And we're going to be here next Friday with some of our sponsors. Thank you so much for all of our sponsors and all of our supporters. That's a big demonstration on the 9th of October, Jeff. That's where we'll be getting loads of videos of people saying power to the brown people and the white people and whatever colour people you are.
On the hour,
We'll be back
every
next
hour.
week.